it becomes a problem because most persons have a misconstrued mentality when it comes to personal branding. But I want to just give you one or two rules that you should abide to when you want to build a personal brand. I don't even want to talk about it from just, thank you very much, Alex Simmons, from just the personal brand building standpoint. Now, bear in mind that what you need is not just attention. What you need is also results. So most persons who try to build personal brands, at the end of the day, do not get the desired results. So what they end up getting is just the attention. There is a big difference between somebody who is trending, thank you Joseph Riches, someone who is trending and someone who is impactful. Most persons, instead of chasing impact when they want to build their personal brand, they are all about trending. You can do things and you trend, and in the end, nothing comes out. I wrote a few things down. First of all, if your mentality, I like to say this every time I'm teaching, if your mentality about a thing does not change, does not become positive, is not right, everything you do about that thing will be wrong if you don't take care. If your mentality about being a pastor is not right, everything you do about opening a church, running a ministry, would probably be wrong. You'll be doing the wrong things, hoping that maybe you will get it right some way, somehow. If your mentality about running a business is wrong, over time, you will be doing the wrong things, thinking that or hoping that maybe you will get it right with time. But if care is not taken, by continuous, yes, we understand the power of compound effect. The more you keep doing the wrong thing, the more you keep going deeper into error. And with time, it becomes difficult for you to deliver yourself from that thing. It's like taking a bus that is going to the wrong direction. They've told you many times. The earlier you discover that this is the wrong direction, you can either remodel your mindset to accept this new destination you are going to arrive and think of how to be flexible enough to be able to flow with that, with whatever happens within that destination you want to arrive. It's either that happens or you come down from the bus, because the longer you stay in that bus, coming back, the transportation to come back becomes more expensive. So then what are we saying? You must first of all change your mentality. Change your mentality before you can build a solid, long-lasting, impactful personal brand. And what are we talking about? Now, we're talking about a mindset. Are we together, guys? Okay, good. So we're talking, please, I can hear myself. Thank you very much, guys. So we're talking about a mindset, from what I wrote here, that is based on principles and not opinions. Now, most persons who want to build personal brands, they build personal brands that are based on the public opinion of others, the opinions of others. It is what you think people want from you that you build a personal brand on. Now, over time, this cannot be sustainable. You cannot sustain it over time. So you must build a personal brand that is based on principles. And what is principle? Principles are built on values. You must ask yourself first, what values do I stand for? Some persons, as part of their value system, it is godliness. Everything they say, like the type of Eric Gugwa, right? Eric Gugwa, you know that anytime you open, this guy is a Christian, he's a child of God, he will talk godliness. It is part of his value system. For some persons, it is excellence. It is part of their value system. They cannot do anything less, anything below the standard they have set for themselves. And every day they continue to strive for perfection, every single day. So you must do some, for some persons, it's quality. everything they want to put out there. They do not want to put anything that will just be like they just carry camera put. I don't know, I can't remember the name of that guy. He did Big Brother Nigeria and he does oh my god. His name is EL something like that.
Elozona.
Yes, Elozona, right?
Yes.
All his content are quality. You see his just video, it looks like a full movie. It's quality. Some persons, their value system is they want to change lives. So you must sit down first and ask yourself, what value am I trying to pass on to the world, onto my listeners? It cannot be everybody's building a personal brand. You too, you just wake up, you say yes. Before I begin to teach you the strategies on how you can build a personal brand, practically, before I go into that, I want your mentality to shift a bit, to move from just saying I want to build a personal brand to asking yourself, what do I stand for? We say this in the office every time, that the person who becomes successful is not just the person who sells, but someone who stands for something. You must ask yourself, for some persons, they stand for the freedom of the people. They stand against favoritism. They stand against subjecting other people below you. They stand for the masses. For someone like VDM, I know a lot of you here might not like him, but you know what he stands for. You know that he stands for justice. If something is not done right, he's going to say something about it. So ask yourself this first question: what principles am I trying to uphold? What principles am I trying to uphold here? Okay, I do real estate. Okay, I'm a pastor. Okay, I'm a singer. Okay, I'm a motivational speaker. Okay, I'm an author. Okay, I don't know, whatever you can call yourself. What do I stand for? So then your first rule is that your personal brand must not be based on opinions, but must be based on principles, because opinions change. Opinions change. If you don't take care and you follow opinions, today somebody says you are sounding like a child. Maybe you should sound very mature. The next day you sound very mature. You sound mature. They say, sometimes you should sound like a child, because this your maturity is making people to be worried. Sometimes people are not happy with the way you sound. You sound serious. That's it. And when you have 3 followers, you have 3 opinions. When you have 20 followers, you have 20 opinions. Now you've had 200,000 followers. It is 200 opinions. And so if your personal brand is based on the opinions of others, you'll be frustrated over time. So you must sit down on your own first and ask yourself, what principles am I going to build this personal brand on? And what are the values that should sustain this principle? That is why there are certain things I cannot post on my page. There are certain things I cannot put out there. No matter how interesting they are, I can't put them out there. Because if I do, somebody who has been watching my content will say, no, Mr. Cornelius, this is not part of what we know you for. I don't think you can see me. I don't want to mention things. If I mention, maybe Mfono or Isiaka will say, Mr. Cornelius is... Realize that your mind is like a muscle. Mind is like a muscle. The mind responds to resistance. It's like muscle. Your mind responds to resistance. It grows when you challenge it. And it becomes strength. It becomes strengthened when you force it to solve problems. So if you do not train your mind to accept and abide by principles, by certain value systems, with time, you would lack direction and focus when you're building your personal brand. Now, this is important for me because I've decided to discuss this first before I move into. When I move into that, we're going to switch to the screen so that I can teach you on the screen. Right? We can do that. Yes. So this is it. Please make sure that your personal brand is based on principles. These principles must have value systems. And then when your personal brand has value system, thrive with it, push with it. Whatever I'm going to teach you now should be based on what we have just discussed now. That is why you can watch yourself. Sometimes you start out building a brand and you are going one way, you are going one way. The next thing, something tells you that, try another, just try this other one. Don't you know that the other one will work? You now say you should try it. The next thing, with time, if we don't know you for one thing, we know you for everything. You become everything to us. And everything sometimes becomes nothing. Consistency is your ability to assume a state, assume a nature, assume a character, and stick to it for the longest you can. You must be known for that thing. It is one of the core qualities of building a solid personal brand. If you are known for saying the truth, stick to it. The day you begin to joke around lies, people begin to feel like, you should say this guy even know it in they do. With time, they begin to lose that connectivity from that brand itself. Now, when we talk about brand, mostly, sometimes a lot of persons think brand is just the logo. Yes, we all know, all of us that are here, you all know that the brand is the experience people get, the feelings people have, the perception people have of you, of a product, of a system. That is the brand of the system. So give us a good feeling. If for any reason you see the person of what is this pastor? Emmanuel Iren. Yes, Emmanuel Iren. Okay, Emmanuel Iren. If you see somebody like that, and maybe one day he's saying, ladies and gentlemen, I've looked at it carefully. I think all of us should vote for Akpabio. Something comes to your mind. You say, they don't give this one money. We don't know you as a politician. We know you to be a preacher of the gospel. You must stick to it. We know you for what God cannot do, does not exist. You must stick to it. Jerry Eze, right? Jerry Eze, yes. This is what I'm talking about. So now let us go into the practical session. I can't finish it for this class, but I'm hoping that I'll be able to do justice to what that is. I need someone to hold this phone from me. So that I can teach you practically how you can handle your personal brand and build it very well. Okay. The camera. This is the person that's holding the camera from me. All right then. So today I want to teach you about. Thank you. So I wrote a few things on my paper here. Today I want to teach you about content creation strategies. This is going to help you a whole lot because most of us want to create content. We want to build a social media presence. Most of the times when you talk personal branding, now in today's world, we're talking in hyper personalized digital presence. That's what we're talking about. So when you want to build these things, how do you handle your content creation strategy? How do you handle content creation? How do you create content? Most persons have this challenge. And so, in one of the trainings I've had many times, they've taught us that there are two things you have to look out for when you are creating a content. First is the short form content, third is the long one. Now, first is the weekly content. Stay with me. It's the weekly content. Now, when I teach you this, you can take it and apply it in whatever area you find yourself. You are a caterer, you are a chef, you can apply this there. You are a real estate developer, you can apply it there. You're a CEO, you're a pastor, whatever, you can apply it there. And then we have monthly projects. Now, when you want to start doing this, divide your, let me put it like this so that you can get it very well. Let me put it somewhere. Okay. Let me put it here. Let me write here, weekly contents content. And let me write here, monthly projects. So divide it into these two forms. And then under weekly content, you must have topics. Under weekly content, you must have topics. You must have strategies. And you must have schedules. Now, this is what I want you to do. First off, when you talk about your weekly content, we need to know the topics you want to discuss in your weekly content. I'm still going to teach you how you're going to derive these topics. First off, let me move this. Everyone can see it. We can see the board, right? Everybody can see the board. Okay. So first off, I want you to do this. You will have topics that you want to discuss. You have the strategies you want to use in achieving, in making this topic visible to your followers. How do you want to achieve making this topic impactful to your followers? And then you plan your schedules. How do you want to be posting them? How do you want to get these things into the hands, the times, the periods you want to get this content into the hands of your. We've not started talking about this. Now, on that topic, there's something called value engineering. Value engineering. Anything I cannot spell, I'll just scrabble. So get used to it. So there's something called value engineering. Now, value engineering has to do with demystifying the topics you want to discuss. Now, you can have one topic, or you can have a particular concept you want to discuss with your people. But you need to now break them down so that from this particular concept, don't worry, just stay with me. With time, you grasp everything we're talking about. So first off, we want to talk about the desires. Desires. What is it that people want about this thing? Let us take, for example, real estate. We say, I am a CEO. I want to start making content. First of all, I'm going to sit down and say, what topics am I going to be discussing about this content I want to start doing? What topics am I discussing? Okay, so we say we want to discuss wealth creation, for example. Wealth creation. Now, the first thing we want to talk about in wealth creation is what are the desires of people? Why should people want wealth creation? What is that thing that, is it tickle? It's tickle now. It's a fantasy, right? About wealth creation. Because if we talk to you about wealth creation and we have not boosted your desires to want wealth creation, at the end of the day, this whole thing no go hold water. For example, a pastor wants to talk to you about salvation. He's going to paint how heaven will look like and why you should go to heaven and why you should accept God, Jesus, into your life. Because if you don't do so, this and this. He's going to paint the desires for you. That's number one. Then number two is we're going to now talk about the fears. Now, by the time you're able to do all of this value engineering in a particular topic you want to discuss, you'll be able to come up with solid content that you can pass onto your audience, onto your followers, your fans, whoever you call them, your community, whoever you call them, and they will learn one or two things from it. Now, when we talk about wealth creation now, first of all, we talk about the desires of building wealth creation. We put the desires inside of you. The next thing we want to talk about are the fears, like we've written here. The fears. Why do you think people are scared of chasing this desire that they have about this topic? So now, for you that wants to start building a social media handle, the first thing you want to ask yourself is, what topic do I want to discuss? The moment you start talking about the topic, you now do a value engineering on the topic. You now begin to demystify it in these different forms. I'm going to list a few, but I'll probably not be able to list all. Then the next thing is the objectives. Objectives. What do we hope for them to achieve at the end of the day? If somebody wants to build wealth creation, if somebody wants to go for wealth creation, what should be his objectives? He's going for financial freedom. He's going to be able to buy more time for himself. He's going to be able to this. He's going to be able to... We now begin to demystify all of these objectives carefully. Now, most of us, we want to create content. But because we don't know what value engineering is, it becomes difficult. Because all you do is, ladies and gentlemen, today I want to talk to you about fashion. And one of the keynotes of fashion is this and that. You pick a topic first, then you do this value engineering on the topic. Now the next thing you must talk about is vehicle. What would they need to be able to achieve this? Now we're talking about wealth creation. First, we have talked about the desires. We have been able to boost their desires. We've been able to make them see reasons why they should go for it. The next thing is the fears. We need to be able to handle objections, the obstacles that they could face in that particular space. Now, we're talking Christianity. First, the desires. Jesus will make your life beautiful. This and this. Your life will be that. This, you'll be able to fight demons. Generational curses will be destroyed from your life, but a whole lot of things. Then we'll now begin to talk about the fears. Maybe you think that if you do this, you will not be able to achieve this and this. Maybe you think that your boyfriend, a whole lot. The moment we're able to handle these fears, the next thing is the objective. This is the next thing we want to talk about. And I think I wrote something here about the objective. Yes. Now, the objective has to do with the beliefs that fosters either, I don't want to write too much, either the fears or limitations in their inner world. We're going to now talk about these things. Are we together, guys?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so this is it. Then the next thing we want to talk about is the vehicle. Like I said, the vehicle. How will they achieve this? We're going to present them with a solution, with something that can enable them to achieve all of these things that we're talking about. It's very important that we get that done. Then the next thing is the identity. Now, I'm going to put this down as a form of a write-up, and then I'm going to send it on the platform for some of you that are on the WhatsApp group, so that you can download it, read it carefully, and get to understand all of these things. So that the next time you want to start building your social media handle, the next time you want to start building your personal brand identity, you should be able to do value engineering on whatever topic you are able to pick and want to discuss. Because some of these things are not things that you just rush over in class. So I'm going to put them down as a form of a PDF. I'm going to send it to the WhatsApp group latest by 12 noon tomorrow. We should be able to make it available.
Yes.
Peace, is that so?
Yes, sir.
Is that so?
Yes.
Good. So now, yeah. So the first thing we talk about when we talk about the topics is value engineering. The next thing we talk about, this is A. Let's make this A. Sorry. Let's make this A. Then the next thing we talk about when we talk about the topic is splintering. I just spelled it there. Splintering. Okay. So now, when we talk about splintering here, first we want to talk about, remember that here we were able to demystify one topic into these different forms. We were able to talk about the desires, the fears, about the topic, the objectives, about the topic, the vehicle, how we can achieve that, the identity, how our inner world, who you are, how who you are affects this particular topic we're discussing. How the person you have become can play any role in helping you achieve success in this topic we're discussing. That is the identity we're talking about. Now we're now going to talk about splintering. I don't want to. Now, splintering has to do with the different formats that you can pass this message across to your audience. So the first one we want to talk about first is the unconventional perspective. We want to talk about unconventional perspective. You have to think of a way to pass this message on to your audience in an unconventional way. I would have asked someone, if this was a physical class, I would have asked someone to explain to us what unconventional means in a way that is not too popular, right? That is not something that looks like is generally accepted. It's unconventional. That is the first thing you want to look out for. Then the next one, you want to be able to pass this message, also discuss this topic. Another form you can pass this to your audience is using behind the scene. Now, most of us, we complain that I've been doing content, but sometimes I'm scared I'll run out of content to post. First off, you can use unconventional perspective as a format to package your content and send it out. Another format you can use is behind the scene. All of these are contents. You cannot run out of content. It is difficult to run out of content. The moment you are able to pick a topic, you can even say Monday you are going to just talk about the desires of this topic. Tuesday you are going to talk about the fears that surround a particular topic. Thursday or Wednesday you are going to talk about the objectives. Thursday, vehicle. Friday you're going to talk about the identity, how the personality of the person affects this topic, plays a role in helping the person achieve this topic. Like I said, I'm going to do a PDF and send it to you. Now the next thing is the splintering. First, we talked about the value engineering. We've evaluated the topic. Now it's the splintering. The splintering is what different modes and forms can I send content out? Can I post content? So the first one is the unconventional perspective. Like I wrote it here. Yes, unconventional perspective. Then the next one is behind the scene. Another one is tutorials and tactics, of course. That is what a lot of persons do. Tutorials and tactics. This is what a lot of persons do. Most persons, this is where they end. They don't know how to play around behind the scenes. They don't know how to play around unconventional perspective. They don't know how to play around that. Now, for some of us, you just sit in front of your phone. Ladies and gentlemen, today I want to talk to you about Pythagoras theory. And Pythagoras theory is this, and after that, that's all. Now, another person will be able to carve out a behind-the-scene content from that same video he has done. Will be able, after the tactics and the tutorial video, will be able to come up with unconventional perspective of passing out his message to other people. Like I said, I'm going to explain all of this better in the PDF file so that you can download them and watch them carefully. I had this training, I think, I had it 2021 or so. That was when I had this training first. And I've been using it most of the time. Okay, so then the next format you can use is stories and case studies. Stories and case studies. Stories and case studies. So you can use stories and case studies to pass your message to people. On a fateful day, on a Friday in the year 2025, January 5th, a man called Marcus was walking down the road, and as he got here, this, you are using it to still portray a point. You can choose which one works for you better and stick to it. For some persons, they can choose to use unconventional perspective, use tutorials and tactics, and then case studies and stories. For some persons, they can just stick to stories and case studies and unconventional perspective. But you must ask yourself, which one do I want to use more to pass my message to my audience, to keep my audience engaged? And they must get used to it. Now, there is another one that is called the high-level strategy. But I don't want to dwell there. High-level strategy. I don't want to dwell here for too long. But there is high-level strategy, different strategies you can use to pass your message to your audience. Okay, so now we're done talking about the topic. Now I want to talk about the strategies. Now, under strategies, you must decide which channel you want to use to pass your message to your audience. The first one must be called your primary channel. The second one is what? Secondary channel, right? Yes, it's channel. And then the last one is a community. So you can decide which channel you want to use. I didn't write community because I cannot spell it. I didn't scramble it because I cannot spell it. I don't know why this person is laughing. Call Mew. Yes. Okay. I didn't scramble it because I cannot spell it. So don't laugh. Alright. So now the primary channel, you choose one choose one channel to be your primary channel. Most of us, we want to grow on all channels simultaneously. It doesn't work like that at all. You choose one, you stick to it. For me, when I started building my social media handle with Bright, I think we chose TikTok. We stock is stock now. Are we stick or stack?
Stop.
We stalk.
We stalked.
We stalk. Stalk on you. Okay. We stalked on TikTok. We hold TikTok for neck. So we take stock till we were able to get to, I think it was 50,000 followers or so. I mean 80,000 followers. 50,000, 50 something thousand followers. Then we now said, okay, let us use the TikTok to build the Facebook page. So originally, TikTok was our primary channel. TikTok was our primary channel. Then we now decided, okay, let us use it to build a secondary channel. But however, Facebook has now become our community. Facebook is mostly like a community, right? You can now decide which one of them you want to turn into your community. This is where more people connect with you. You have like your fan base, people who believe in what you're building, people who can attest to the fact that, okay, they are connected almost every week with you, with what you are doing. So you must choose one primary channel. For some persons, they will say, TikTok is my primary channel. For another person, he will say, my secondary channel is Instagram. My community is Facebook. It is very important. Now, a lot of persons can attest to the fact that if you write in my comment section on Facebook, most of the times you would get a reply. You get a response on Facebook because it has become our community. But most of the times, if you write on TikTok, it becomes difficult for us to even reply to it. It's a channel that we use in delivering whatever content we have demystified here onto you. Are we together now? Are you with me? Good. So that is it. You must decide the strategy you want to use. So the strategy, you decide your primary channel, you decide your secondary channel, and then you decide your community. Now, we want to talk about the schedules. What's the time now? Okay, 8:43. Okay. So that I can be done with this class in no time. Now, we want to talk about the schedules. How do you post? Now, under schedules, I was made to understand when I started this training at the time that you have daily short form contents, daily short forms, yes, and you have weekly long forms. Now, you can divide your postings into daily short forms and weekly long forms. Now, I'm going to try as much as possible to explain each of these postings for you. Now, most of us, what we do is that we do not plan these things out. So because you don't plan these things out, you just post anyhow. And with time, you run out of the will to continue the game. And you become discouraged at the end of the day. So with time, you become discouraged at the end of the day. However, if you can be able to sit down and plan all of these things out. Now, daily short forms is mostly like reels, right?
Yes.
Most of us, we were able to post reels to a point where people were following us from just reels. And reels could be like 1 minute, 30 seconds. Could be 1 minute. You are posting just reels. So we can say we have picked a topic that we want to discuss. For example, Bright Baridakara wants to discuss a topic and he wants to discuss system, business system as a topic. And now he says, let us talk about the desires behind building a business system. First of all, he's doing a value engineering on the topic. Let us discuss the desires behind building a system. What should be the desire of people? Okay, if you are the kind of person who wishes to this, if you are the kind of person who would like to, some persons would like to this, then this topic is for you. We're talking about your desires. Then he now begins to talk about the fears. Now, a lot of persons will think that for you to be able to build a solid business system, you need to have this. You need to have so much money. You need to have this. You need to have so much technical know-how on this. We now discuss the fears. This is an inclusion strategy. We're bringing every single person on board. We're breaking down all the obstacles and limitations that can stop you from wanting to listen to this topic or follow us through, or to be able to seek for success in this particular area. Because if you don't break these fears down, and if you don't boost their desires, over time, they will lose interest. By the time you start talking about the objectives, the vehicle they can use, and the identity as a person, they might have lost interest. That is why you see, I like using pastors because my dad is a pastor. Let's tell you everything. That's why you see, when the pastor wants to start preaching, he talks about the desires. By the time I'm done with this preaching, I can assure you that spirit in you that is causing you to steal aces will disappear in the name. He boosts all of these desires inside of you. Now, inside of you now, you are ready. Now, he now begins to tell you about your fears. He said, one day I went to a church, and as I was preaching, I was talking, and a woman was sitting before me, and the woman, I could see unbelief in her because she has tried a lot of pastors and it didn't work. You have not tried my God. He's removing the fear. That fear of, what if I come? Okay, he says, if you know you have a sickness somewhere in your body, touch it. And you are feeling shy, you don't want to touch it. He begins to attack the fears, the obstacles, the limitations first. So he says, I know that you don't want to touch it because somebody beside you will say, so this woman's breast is not working. That kind of thing. He attacks that. And he says, everybody close your eyes. That is it. So when you want to speak, you want to send a topic out, this is not just for social media postings. Even if you want to speak in an event, you are called to speak about a particular topic. Do value engineering on the topic before you talk about the topic. Because if you don't do this, with time, you might just end up striking this, you come and strike this one, you come and strike this one. Before you know, you cannot be arranged. So if you can be able to list the desires that you want the people to experience at the end of the day by achieving success in this thing, if you can be able to eliminate their fears, their limitations, their uncertainties, if you can be able to outline the objectives of what you as a person would like to achieve at the end of the day, and some of the obstacles that can stop them from achieving this, and if you can be able to tell them how they can get from not achieving it to achieving it, the vehicle they can use to achieve it. Most persons have taught you, change your mindset, but they have not taught you how to change the mindset. A lot of persons have said, you have to tell yourself you can make it, but they have not told you how to tell yourself you can make it. So the challenge we've had in our world now is that we have a lot of motivational speakers who speak to you not from an experiential standpoint, but from just motivational voice. They just shout. At the end, you just watch and there's no value in it. So you must be able to think of a vehicle, how you want to help them to achieve that thing. So if I'm talking about wealth creation as a topic, I must be able to outline series of vehicles. Like today, Bright was talking to you about fractional land retaining, right? It's a vehicle you can use. Some people can use mutual funds as a vehicle. Some people use real estate as a vehicle. Some people use anything at all. So the more I can discuss that topic, somebody's microphone is on. Okay. The more I can discuss these topics, then I now begin to talk about the identity. Like I said, I'm going to do this like a PDF form and send it to you. Now, we were talking about daily short forms. Like I said, what's the time? So that I want to end sharp by 5. Okay, so I was talking about daily short contents, daily short forms, and I'm going to explain to you the reasons why you should do daily short forms. Number 1 is that it is good for insight and perspective. Insight and perspective. So it helps people to understand your insight and perspective about a particular topic. So because most of the times it is not too long. It is not long. It is short. It's very brief. So in most cases, it's not something that you can sit down and calm down and say, today I want to talk to you about how to avoid thieves in your company. And number 1 is going to be number 2 because you cannot explain all of that. So it's going to be useful when people watch it, they can know your insight and your perspective about a particular topic, about a particular concept. This is one of the most important reasons why it is. Now, another thing is that the daily short forms is good, is a rapid testing ground. So some of us, you want to start a podcast, a long form podcast, and the first thing you do is to do a long form podcast and post it like that. Long form, it doesn't work. We don't even know what your insights and your perspectives are like. So that is why most of the times when people are done doing long form content, they will break it down into short contents, right? Like, so it appears like a trailer. So as you watch the first one, you watch the second one, you watch the third one, you begin to understand the person's insight and perspective. Now, the challenge most times we make too is that you want to do this short form content, but it does not carry any insight and any perspective about a particular concept. It's just and you post it. You must be able to cut areas in your content that can pass that message that you want your people to get at the end of the day. And remember that we say that your personal brand must be based on principles, right?
Yes.
Yes, principles and not opinions. Because if it is based on opinions change. There are so many opinions, and with time, you will not be able to meet up with the opinions of others. So stick to principles, and principles are built on values. You must ask yourself, what value system am I going to abide by? Okay, so like I said, now let's talk about the weekly long forms. I'm rushing through the topic, I'm just rushing through it. The weekly long form is actually like a middle funnel in most cases, and it is for connection and competence. Yes, for connection and competence. Okay, it's for connection. Somebody's microphone is on. Okay, so it's for connection and competence. So this is where you show people what you are capable of doing. Now, before I'm able to summon the courage to want to do this long form trainings, somebody's microphone is on, to do this long form content, I am able to do the short form content for a long time, that you now understand my insights and perspective about most of the topics that I discuss, about finance, about business growth, about personal development, about leadership, about sales. You understand my insights, my perspectives about this. And it has been able to help me test all of these topics and see the reactions of people, get feedback from people. I am so blessed by this topic. I like what you are doing. We are proud of you. All of these things. Do you not think that? Please throw more light on this. Please discuss this further. Please, how can I get the full video? And all of these things. And after that, I can now start doing weekly long form content. So now, in most cases, you can have this 4 or 3 daily. You can have daily short forms, 3 daily. So you can say, I'm posting 1 in the morning, I'm posting, depending on which one works for you. Somebody can tell you, you have to post at least 5 times a day. And there's a way you post 5 times a day, people become tired of what you are posting. Abi? Another person can tell you, post by 6:45 a.m. If you pass 45 a.m., don't post again. 6:45 a.m. because that time people are just waking up. As they are carrying their phone, is you they are seeing first. Another person will say post by 4 p.m. Sometimes I've posted videos in times that social media strategists said that's the best time to post, and it didn't go anywhere. There were times where I posted, they say the moment is past 9 p.m., don't post again. Nobody is going to watch anything. People are going to sleep. And I've posted video by 12. And that is when the people in UK and the people in USA are calling me to say, I just saw your video now. I don't know what's the time now. So it can work anytime. It just depends on how well you can perform your value engineering. How well you can perform this. And you can script what you want to say and get them on. Now, and the mode that you want to use to pass this information to them. Is it unconventional perspective? Recently we were doing something here, and it's very, very unconventional sometimes. I bought this thing on Temu for, it is not just a normal thing, and then we slap the guy and then we talk like that. So it's unconventional. Or can we do behind the scenes? Can we just do something to boost their interest, their desire on what we want to post? Can we talk about stories and case studies? Is our audience, are they thrilled by stories and case studies if we discuss this? Can we do high-level strategy? High-level strategy is no longer the common pattern. For example, I'm teaching engineering, or I'm teaching, okay, there's this guy, Falajomi, right? Falajomi, yes. So he's able to bring normal high-level content and bring it down to discuss it like it is stories and case studies.
Yeah.
And we can relate. Just imagine that guy saying, when the slabs, let me explain something to you. When the slab is thicker than 15 millimeters with a rod spanning across the ventilum of, if he begins to explain these things from a high-level strategy standpoint, we will not be able to follow. So he understands what his community wants and is able to bring it down. I've seen pastors who talk on social media, and by the time you just watch one, you scroll. Because they are trying to, they now say, first thing they say, I want you to understand that faith is from two Hebrew words with a small Greek word attached to it. It is fetus operandus and Algeria. And they try to explain, you are disconnected at the end of the day. So you need to understand your audience and understand what they are comfortable with. Do you want to use tutorials and tactics? Do you want to blend two out of these three? Do you want to stick to one for a while till you boost anticipation from people before you start posting the rest? These are the things you must focus on. So we've talked about the advantages of running daily short form, that is for insight and perspective. We've talked about the fact that it's a rapid testing ground that can allow you to test your strategies and see which one works. So we decide we want to use stories and case studies. We need to test it and see if people will embrace it. So let's do short stories, let's do short case studies and try it and see which one works. We want to try tutorials and tactics rather. So you're going to try it and see which one works. What's the time? 8:58. Our time is fast spent. I would have been able to talk about, remember that I told you that it is weekly content and monthly projects. Let me just rush through the monthly projects. How do you plan your monthly projects when it comes to building a personal brand? Now, under monthly projects, we have products, we have marketing, and we have systems, and we have operations. I cannot explain this too much in this class because our time is fast spent. Okay, so then we're going to talk about products. First off, you're going to ask yourself, what I want to start talking about on my social media handle, the product I want to preach to my clients, is it a new product or an existing product? Because it's going to affect your strategy, how you are going to pass it on to your market. Our time is fast spent. It's fast spent. Yeah, so you're going to talk about either it is a new product, whether it is an existing product. This topic I want to discuss, is it a new idea, a new concept, or is it an already existing idea? So a lot of persons will say, based on what so person said, I want to this, I want to that, I want to that, all of that. Am I selling a new product? Am I selling an already existing product? So when you want to talk about an existing product, you want to talk about, am I talking improvement on this product? Am I talking about repurposing the product? Am I talking about relaunching the product? I'll write all of this in a PDF and send it across to you. Now, that is it. Now, for marketing, I don't want to go into marketing. Operations. Now, operations, sorry. There's a mistake here. Yes, sorry. It's operations here. Yes, it's operations. So we talk product, we talk marketing, we talk operations. Under operations, What I'm teaching you now, when I send it as a PDF file, you go through it carefully. You will understand what you need to do to build a social media handle or to build a personal brand for yourself. And the next thing we want to talk about is the operations. Under operations, we have teams, we have systems, and there's another one that I forgot here. Yes, and then we have maintenance. Maintenance. So this is under operations. Under operations, first you want to ask yourself, how many persons will I need on my team to be able to achieve this? When I started, I needed only Bright. Let me write his name here so that he will be happy. Bright Dakara. So I needed only Bright Dakara, and I think I had someone that was shooting videos for me. I think it was Stanley or something. Cyril. Stanley and Cyril, yeah. So I needed a videographer, a cinematographer, and Bright Dakara that was handling scheduling and content generation and the topics. And then the system. The system now comes into play. What tools will I need to be able to get these things done? When I started, I was using captions for my subtitle, right? I was using InShot to edit the video and a whole lot of things that I was using to get the videos done. Then maintenance. How do I upgrade my systems? How do I upgrade my people? How do I get my environment in place? What do I need to be able to keep these things up to speed? This also means contingency plan. How do I generate money that can allow me to be able to keep up to speed with what I'm trying to achieve at the end of the day? So like I've told you when we started this is a long topic that I've discussed. First, I said the rule number one is that your personal brand identity must be built on principles and not opinions. And principles are built on core values. The value is what you must select yourself. And when you come up with a topic, you want to start building it, you must have a weekly content plan and a monthly project plan. Now, under weekly content plan, first, you must talk about the topic. Then the next thing you must talk about the strategy. The next one you must talk about the schedules. Now, under the topic, we talked about value engineering, that we must break down the topic into mini parts that can make sense to enable us create more content as far as that topic is concerned. And the first thing we want to talk about is the desires of the listeners. What is that desire we want to boost inside of them that will make them interested in wanting to hear this topic or wanting to chase success in this particular space? The next thing is we want to attack the fears and their limitations. What is that thing that can obstruct them from achieving this thing we want to talk about? Then the objectives, the vehicle, how are they able to achieve it, and the identity, who they are in this particular topic or in this particular spectrum, and how they can achieve success. Then the next thing we want to do splittering. After we do our value engineering, we want to do splittering. We want to now decide if we want to preach using unconventional perspective to communicate the value of the topic we have done. Do we want to just use behind the scenes sometimes to communicate it? Do we want to use tutorials and tactics? Do you want to go through stories and case studies? Do you want to use high-level strategy? Some persons, you want to teach mathematics and you're using high-level strategies. But your audience, your target market, the people that are following you are not people who are interested in this. Then there's a serious problem. Then the next thing we want to talk about is the strategy. So you must select one primary channel, select one secondary channel, and select a community that you must communicate your values to. In some cases, we can add email here. So email will build connections with your people, will allow you to remain fresh in the minds of your people. Then the next thing is the schedule. When you want to do your schedule, do a daily short form schedule and a weekly long form schedule. Now, the reasons why we do daily short form schedule is because we want to be able to pass on to our audience our insights and perspective about a topic, about a concept, about an industry, something. Then it also allows us to rapidly test our concept and see which one works, our strategies, and see which one works. Then the next thing is the long form content. You can have at least 2 long form contents in a week. You can decide to have 1 in a week. So some persons can say, my content drops every Friday by 6 p.m. Go to my YouTube channel and stream it. I'll be dropping the full video on this topic on Saturday by 9 a.m. Try and stream it. This is going to enable people to have connections with you, and it's going to allow you to show your competence in that particular field. Ladies and gentlemen,